Did you know that over 12 million Americans over the age of 40 are living with some form of vision impairment, and most of them had no idea it was coming? That's not a small number. That's millions of people who woke up one day and realized the world around them had gotten blurry, darker, or harder to see. And here's the thing that doctors don't always talk about. So much of that vision loss could have been slowed or even prevented with something as simple as what you eat before you go to bed at night. Now, I know that sounds almost too simple, but the science is real and it's stunning. Researchers at some of the most respected universities in the world have spent years studying the connection between the foods we eat and the long-term health of our eyes. And what they've found keeps pointing back to one particular fruit, a fruit that most people already have in their kitchen, but almost nobody is eating at the right time of day. If you're over 50, or if you've noticed that your night vision isn't what it used to be, or maybe your eyes feel tired and strained more often than they should, I need you to stay right here and watch this entire video, because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the way you think about protecting your eyesight. We're going to talk about the science, we're going to talk about the research, and we're going to talk about exactly how you can start protecting your eyes tonight, starting with one simple fruit. So let's get into it. Here's something that most people don't realize until it's already happening to them. Your eyes are working around the clock, every single day, every single hour, processing light, filtering images, adjusting to darkness, and doing all of it while being exposed to oxidative stress that slowly, silently wears away at the delicate cells inside your retina. The retina is the thin layer at the back of your eye that captures everything you see and sends it to your brain. And just like the rest of your body, those retinal cells can be damaged over time by free radicals, unstable molecules that attack healthy tissue and accelerate the aging process. A 2017 study published in the journal Nutrients confirmed that oxidative stress is one of the primary drivers of age-related macular degeneration, which is the leading cause of severe vision loss in adults over 50 in the United States. Now, what does all of this have to do with what you eat before bed? More than you might think. Here's what researchers have discovered. Your body does most of its cellular repair and regeneration while you sleep. That's when your immune system is most active. That's when inflammation is cleared. And that's when nutrients you've consumed are distributed and used most efficiently. So the foods you eat in those final hours before sleep have an outsized impact on how well your body, including your eyes, repairs itself overnight. And this is where it gets really exciting, because certain fruits are packed with specific antioxidants and compounds that are proven to protect retinal cells, reduce inflammation in the eye tissue, and even help regenerate the pigment that filters harmful blue light. These are not vague health claims. A landmark 2013 study from Harvard Medical School found that people who consumed high levels of specific plant-based antioxidants had a significantly lower risk of developing advanced macular degeneration over a 10-year period. 10 years, and the difference came down in large part to what they were eating. So if you've been thinking that your eyesight is just going to decline because of age and there's nothing you can do about it, I want you to stop right there, because the research tells a very different story. Your eyes are not beyond help. And tonight, before you go to sleep, you have an opportunity to give them exactly what they need to stay stronger, longer. Keep watching, because I'm about to tell you what that fruit is and why timing matters so much. The fruit that researchers keep coming back to time and time again is the blueberry. And before you think, oh, I've heard this before, I want you to understand why blueberries are so uniquely powerful for your eye health, because it goes far deeper than just they're healthy. Blueberries are loaded with a group of compounds called anthocyanins, powerful, deeply pigmented antioxidants that give the blueberry its rich blue-purple color. And here's the remarkable thing about anthocyanins. They have a very specific affinity for the tissues of the eye. In fact, a 2020 study published in the journal Antioxidants found that anthocyanins from blueberries directly accumulated in the retinal tissue of study participants, where they provided a measurable protective effect against oxidative damage. But it doesn't stop there. Blueberries also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that your body cannot produce on its own and must get from food. These compounds act like a natural sunscreen for your macula, the small but critically important area at the center of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision. A 2019 study published in JAMA Ophthalmology followed participants over several years and found that those with the highest dietary intake of lutein and zeaxanthin had a 40% lower risk of advanced macular degeneration compared to those who consumed the least. 40%. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between seeing your grandchildren's faces clearly and struggling to make out shapes across a room. What makes blueberries even more special is the presence of pterostilbene, a compound closely related to resveratrol, which has been shown in research from the University of Mississippi to protect nerve cells, including the optic nerve, from degeneration. Your optic nerve is the cable that carries visual signals from your eye to your brain, and protecting it is just as important as protecting the retina itself. When that nerve deteriorates, no amount of lens correction or eye drops can bring your vision back. And here's the beautiful thing. Blueberries are gentle on your blood sugar, they're anti-inflammatory, and they're easy to find year-round, fresh or frozen. Frozen blueberries, it turns out, retain the vast majority of their anthocyanin content, making them a completely viable and affordable option. So cost and availability are not excuses here. The question is simply whether you're eating them, and whether you're eating them at the right time. So why before bed specifically? This is the part that most health videos skip over, and honestly, it's the most important piece of the puzzle. We've already talked about the fact that your body does its deepest repair work while you sleep, but there's another layer to this that has to do with the specific nutrients in blueberries and how your body processes them. Anthocyanins, the star compounds in blueberries, are absorbed relatively quickly into the bloodstream, typically within 2 to 3 hours of consumption. That means if you eat blueberries in the early afternoon, their peak concentration in your bloodstream may have already come and gone long before your body enters its nighttime repair phase. A 2021 study from the University of California examined the timing of antioxidant consumption and its effect on cellular repair markers, and the findings were significant. Participants who consumed antioxidant-rich foods in the 2 to 3 hours before sleep showed higher levels of overnight tissue repair compared to those who consumed the same foods earlier in the day. This is known as nutrient timing, and it's a concept that athletes have been using for years to maximize muscle recovery, but it applies just as powerfully to the repair of your eye tissue. There's also another reason nighttime blueberry consumption is so beneficial, and it has to do with your eye's relationship with darkness. When you sleep, your eyes are closed, your retinas are resting, and the photoreceptor cells in your eyes, the rods and cones that allow you to see, are going through a renewal process. This process requires specific nutrients, including the very compounds found in blueberries. A 2018 study published in the journal Current Eye Research found that anthocyanin supplementation improved the rate of photoreceptor cell renewal in animal models, suggesting a direct role in the nightly regeneration of the cells you depend on for vision. Now combine all of this together, anthocyanins entering your bloodstream right at the moment your body begins its repair cycle, lutein and zeaxanthin reinforcing the protective layer over your macula, and pterostilbene shielding your optic nerve from oxidative damage, all happening while you sleep peacefully. That is what a small serving of blueberries before bed can do for you. It sounds almost too easy, but the science is clear, the research is consistent, and the only question left is, what are you waiting for? Now let's talk practically, because I want you to walk away from this video with something you can actually do tonight. The good news is that you don't need to eat a massive amount of blueberries to get a real benefit. Research suggests that a serving of about half a cup to 1 cup of blueberries, roughly 75 to 150 grams, eaten in the evening, ideally within 2 hours of bedtime, is enough to meaningfully increase the levels of eye protective compounds in your system overnight. A 2016 clinical trial published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that participants who consumed just 100 grams of blueberries daily for 12 weeks showed measurable improvements in macular pigment optical density, which is essentially a measure of how well your eye is protected against harmful light. That's just under a cup a day for 12 weeks, and the changes were visible on imaging equipment. Here are a few practical tips to make this a sustainable habit. First, keep a bag of frozen blueberries in your freezer at all times. Frozen blueberries are just as nutritious as fresh, often significantly cheaper, and they're available year-round. Let them thaw for a few minutes before eating, or enjoy them slightly chilled. Second, pair your blueberries with a small amount of healthy fat. A handful of walnuts, a drizzle of olive oil on a small salad, or even a few slices of avocado. Fat-soluble nutrients like lutein and zeaxanthin are absorbed far more effectively when consumed alongside dietary fat. And a 2015 study from Ohio State University confirmed that pairing carotenoid-rich foods with healthy fat increased absorption by up to 400%. Third, try to make this a consistent nightly ritual rather than something you do occasionally. The cumulative effect of these nutrients builds over time, and consistency is what separates people who see real results from those who don't. Think of it like taking a daily medication. The benefit isn't in a single dose, it's in the daily commitment. And finally, remember that blueberries are just one piece of the puzzle. Regular eye checkups, protecting your eyes from excessive UV light with quality sunglasses, staying well hydrated, and reducing processed foods in your overall diet all work together to support your vision for the long haul. But tonight, you can start with one simple, delicious, research-backed step. A small bowl of blueberries before bed. Your eyes will thank you for it. I want you to take a moment and really let this sink in. You have more power over your eye health than you've probably been told. The research is clear, the steps are simple, and the fruit that can help protect your vision is probably sitting in your grocery store right now, waiting for you to pick it up. Starting tonight, try adding a small serving of blueberries to your evening routine. Do it for a week, then a month, and see how you feel. Small changes, done consistently, create extraordinary results. If this video opened your eyes, pun absolutely intended, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more people like you find this information when they need it most. And if you have a friend or loved one who's worried about their vision, please share this with them. It could make a real difference in their life. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me, are you going to try the blueberry habit tonight? Your sight is precious. Protect it, starting tonight.